Hello everyone, my name is Noelle and welcome back to the channel. I'd like to start off by saying thank you so much for 7,000 subscribers. I know I haven't uploaded in like 3 weeks, life sucks right now. I'm recording in my car, but I think I'm ready to start uploading again. Today we actually have our first ever guest, so isn't that cool?
Hey guys, my name's KJ and I'll be narrating some of this video. Thanks for having me on, Noelle.
Make sure to go subscribe to KJ Elliott. He's a really cool dude and he's super talented. Anyways, tonight on the channel we're talking about something that most of you probably haven't heard of before. Though I'd like to add that this isn't like a deep, complex story sort of thing. Just something that I think is disturbing, super underrated, and along with that, I think it has something important to say about mental health. So with that being said, let's get right into it, shall we? Neu Rosa is a short video series created by Sharon Cantor, consisting of 4 episodes released in 2007, which might sound weird because the series was posted to YouTube in 2010, but we'll get to that. In these videos, we follow our protagonist named Rosa, and her nameless cat, who often suffers the consequences of Rosa's actions. She does things that on the surface seem like she's just crazy, but there's way more to her than this preconceived notion, intentional or not. Our objective today is to explain why she might do what she does and how it affects those around her, in this case being her cat. In order to do so, we'll start with explaining all the events throughout the 4 episodes in order, and then try to find out what might cause her to act the way that she does. In episode 1 of Neu Rosa, we're greeted with a shelf littered of Matryoshka dolls, books, and bottles. We then see Rosa, on the phone with who is presumably her boyfriend, and then she slams the phone down and screams, along with her cat. She starts to pull her hair out until she is nearly bald and cuts the name Johnny into her arm. The dolls begin to say, "No, Rosa, no," which will be a recurring theme later on. She enters the bathroom with a razor blade and slices off her eyebrow, causing her to bleed into the sink. Her cat licks the blood and this sets Rosa off. She chases the cat around the room, finally catching it and cutting its tail off. She sticks it on her head and begins to dance, the dolls and cat joining in, until the phone rings. She picks it up, immediately relaxing back to the Rosa that we saw in the beginning. He wants to come over, and realizing what she's just done and how messy the place is, she cleans it up and uses her cat to hide her missing hair. She opens the door to Johnny, and episode 1 ends. In episode 2, the beginning nearly mirrors that of the first one. Her on the phone, slamming it down and screaming. The dolls again say, "No, Rosa, no," as she goes into the bathroom. She looks at herself in the mirror, seeing herself as overweight and a pig. Her cat looks visibly concerned as she marks parts of her body that she thinks need to be fixed with a marker. First, she stitches her eyes and chest before cutting into them and giving herself a lip injection. She cuts into her body using a chainsaw. Seeing this, her cat throws up understandably. We're then shown what she looks like afterwards. She picks up her cat and begins to dance with it, seeing them as a representation of Johnny. She looks out the window towards a tropical shore, jumping out, leaving her cat to stare out the window, revealing a dark, dystopian city. And episode 2 ends. We're actually going to put these 2 episodes in the same section as they both deal with the same issues of body dysmorphia and self-harm. In the first episode, we see how she cuts and hurts herself as a way to cope with what I assume was a breakup or death, as Johnny shows up pretty frequently throughout and always seems to trigger her behaviors. We see this happen a lot with people who have suffered some sort of trauma or extreme emotional pain, and those signs are all seen here with Rosa. On top of this, it's also pretty clear that Rosa sees herself as someone who isn't good enough or beautiful enough. And in an attempt to change this, she makes drastic changes to her body with stitches and injections in order to be what she sees as perfect, or rather what she wants other people to think of her. It's something that's too common now, especially when we see all these people on social media that admittedly look way better than us. And a lot of people feel like they need to live up to everyone else's standards when it comes to their looks, when really, that's not the case. In regards to Rosa, I think this same situation applies, but instead towards Johnny. She might feel like she isn't good enough for him, so in order to do that, she takes it to the extreme, which we saw in episode 2.
In episode 3, we start with Rosa swinging back and forth, hanging from the ceiling by her boots. The portrait of Johnny looks over towards her, pointing her towards a guitar. She cuts the rope she's hanging from and grabs the guitar, placing it on the table with the picture of Johnny and some candles, pouring what seems to be alcohol on it. She lights a match and sets it on fire. Beginning to dance while the fire spreads, a devilish version of Johnny appears. Joining Rosa, she dances in the flames. He holds his hand out for Rosa to grab, but the dolls say once again, "No, Rosa, no," when she takes his hand. Her cat, while walking around the room, accidentally gets its tail into the fire and begins to freak out. Running and jumping around, catching the entire room on fire, the entire place burns, along with Rosa and her cat. The last episode, episode 4, we're shown a clear view of the city as we're brought back into the room where Rosa and the cat are sleeping on the floor. Rosa gets up and looks out the window for a second time before turning around and looking at the picture of Johnny once again. She begins to sing as the dolls and toys dance along. During this, she begins to cry and grabs a hammer. She nails her hands and feet to the wall, crucifying herself as a way to pay for her sins, and then it fades to black.
These two are a bit different because I don't think these relate with any mental condition, but instead themes of religion, which is why I wanted to have these two separate. So we're going to start with episode 3 and do 4 afterwards. In 3, Rosa makes what looks like a shrine for Johnny, or possibly a memorial. She takes the hand and dances with a representation of Johnny that is devil-like. And whether this is the result of obsession or something else, we can't really be sure. But one thing is for certain, that this is obviously not the real Johnny, and she certainly regrets this action later. I think the fact that Johnny is represented as the devil here is important, because that also explains why the room would have been set on fire, as if it was some sort of hell. And in the next episode, Rosa crucifies herself, which lends itself to her regretting the fact that she danced with the devil, per se, which is why she felt the need to do what she does in the final episode. I don't think there's much more to these two other than this, but if anyone picked up on anything I missed, please let me know. Now that we've gotten through all that, before we get to the outro, I want to talk about the upload dates of these. These were posted in 2010, but these are actually all re-uploads and not posted by Sharon. Sharon has a separate channel called Sharon Khan, which only posted one of the Neu Rosa animations in 2007. But this is her actual channel as far as I'm aware, and the rest were posted on her Anaboom account. But that site's dead now, so the only traces of them are the Wayback Machine and these 4 re-uploads, which kinda sucks, but hey, at least we have them all, right? Oh, and fun fact, she had a band. That's pretty cool.
Thank you, Noelle, for having me on once again. If you want to follow my stuff, I occasionally post art on my Instagram at KJElliottArt and sometimes make videos on my channel, KJ Elliott.
I'm glad you made it to the end. For those that have, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm really sorry I haven't posted in almost an entire month. A lot has been going on in my life, but I'm back again. I'll get back to uploading weekly as best I can, and maybe I'll make a separate video with a better explanation on where I've been, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching again. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good rest of your day, and see you later.